Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tuesday night chat. There may be a few more people joining. We'll see. Right now, we got Daniel. God is my judge. And Blue 823. And Daniel, would you like to do an intro?
Oh, hey, TR, thanks for having me on. Blue, nice seeing you. And everybody out there in the side chat, hello.
All right, cool. And Blue, would you like to do an intro?
I've got really nothing major going on. Just throwing up some videos here and there. Actually, Saturday, something cool. I get to go bear hunting for the first time ever on Saturday. I'm not actually hunting. I'll be humping through the woods trying to help one of the relatives bag one. But bear hunting's kind of like a team sport anyway. So if one is bagged, then it's kind of a win for all of us. So that'll be kind of cool. Maybe I'll throw the GoPro on and see if we might get some video of something. But other than that, there's nothing going on. Thanks for the invite, Daniel. Good to see you again, and external, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. If I may ask, what do they do with a bear? Is it more for? Do they harvest the meat, or is it more for the skin, or hide, I should say?
It's kind of both. It's kind of. I mean, I've eaten bear meat before, and it's not real good. At least in my opinion, bear meat's not real good. But it is edible. You can make jerky, and I don't think bear burger. I've never heard of that, but mostly it's jerky and some other. Oh hell, I've seen bolognas before, but I've never had anything other than that. But yeah, it's mostly for the hide. People want that bearskin rug or the mount. So, but it won't go to waste. If he's not going to end up harvesting the meat, he'll end up giving it to somebody that will.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I mean, I know people around here. I've heard of people eating bear, and it may. I've seen some. I think Gear Gridden out there said something about a good roast. So I'm sure there's damn, it's juice. I'm sure there's ways. It's like anything else. There's ways to prepare it and ways not to, and you just can't treat it like it's beef. I'm
Right.
sure.
Well, I just hope that I mean, Christ, I've never bear hunted, but last year during rifle season, the same property that we're going to be hunting, I don't know if you guys remember my hunting videos from last year, but the one bear walked like 15 feet from the stand that me and the boy were in. And then later that day, a bigger bear, and it pissed me off because I was using a stupid, it was called a gecko pod, something like that, where you wrap it around your gun and it holds your phone, and it ended up snapping in the morning. But whenever I was doing a drive later on that afternoon, I had a bear 15 feet away. Well, not 15 feet away from me. I'm going to say, we'll go about 50 feet away. But it walked parallel with me the entire time as I was walking through the woods, and it was wide open. And of course, I didn't have a camera on it or with anything. I was like, damn it. So hopefully we can get lucky like that. But
Sounds like you're good bait there, Blue. You draw them all in.
Well, I saw the same that one day on rifle or deer season. Saw the one bear twice. It was definitely the same one, and then the bigger one later on the afternoon. I've never only once before have I ever seen a bear hunting, and that was in archery season. And that son of a bitch was 10 feet from my tree, and that was way too close.
Oh. I was out in Washington State blacktail hunting, and I had a bear tag in my pocket just in case, because we see the bear scat on the road. I'm in my tent with that one night, and the moon's out, in front of the tent, and there's nothing but the shadow of a bear's body on my front of my tent. I had my I had my 44 Magnum there, and I look out there, and there's that bear about 5 feet away.
And you were on the ground.
I was sleeping in a tent on the ground.
Nope. I'm waiting for that to happen at Farmageddon or something. All that food that SoCal cooks, waiting for a couple bear to come strolling in.
Just don't mistake anybody, you know. Come growling in the middle of the night.
Oh shit, we just shot Coda.
I wasn't going to mention any names.
He's big as a damn bear. That's a mountain of a man right there.
Yeah, that staying on that subject, that's one thing that always has surprised me is how many hunters get shot every year being mistaken for a deer, a fucking turkey, a woodchuck, and a bear. I think those are the 4 top mistaken, oops, I shot a person. How the hell can you mistake a person for a woodchuck?
Because there's morons out there. I mean, we had this one guy, he shot and killed his nephew. Yeah, I mean, he mistaken that he thought his nephew was a deer. Well, the guy was in the stand, and the nephew was making a round trying to push the deer to him at 3 in the morning.
Well, there's mistake 1.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it just, you know, that's how it happens out here. I mean, people out breaking the law, and then, you know, they know nothing about hunting.
Mm-hmm.
They're just idiots.
Yeah, basically just shooting at anything that moves, period.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah. And before that, the game warden got shot during turkey season when he was out turkey hunting.
I had a driver's ed teacher back whenever they had driver's ed in high school. And he's a mountain of a man. I mean, he would put Coda to shame. About maybe a few inches taller, but he was also a lot wider. Somebody mistook him for a freaking turkey. Like, how the hell did you mistake this guy for, I mean, Bigfoot maybe, but
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, that goes against just basic gun safety, period. You don't point your gun at something you don't want to destroy, period.
right.
You know, I mean, I don't care if it's a target or even on a hunt. If you don't know it's a deer, you don't point the damn gun at it.
Right.
I mean, it's target identification and also knowing what's beyond your target. I mean, you know how many big deer I had to pass up because there's a house on the other side of that deer?
Yep. And we had the same thing, which there again, this year's going to be, because last year was the first year I got the GoPro, but it was like halfway through the season. But this year, I hope that we get some good footage, because there was many times, and I've never seen this until last year, to where you're doing a deer drive and you're literally, I don't know, 20 to 30 yards away from the next guy. And then it goes down the next guy, down the next guy. We had deer that instead of jumping up and running away from us, were jumping straight up and running back between us. And you talk about a shit, an asshole puckering experience whenever you see the guy starting to draw down on that deer coming at you, and he's coming, and you fucking step behind the tree and go, "Dear God, please be with me right now." It's like, you know, but the guys that I hunt with, I mean, they'll follow the deer, but they know where the line is, and they'll put the gun up and then turn the rest of the way and then come back down. But you know, thankfully I don't hunt with idiots. So
That's a big plus. I know my buddy Tool Monkey, he grew up in the lower part of the state, or a little lower than we are up here. And you can use dogs to drive deer down there. Well, they use, dogs, and they did something similar to what you're talking about, line up like on a road or something. And then some other people would be, let the dogs out and be behind them and let the dogs run the deer towards you. But they use buckshot, so after 50 yards or so, it's, becomes a little less dangerous. But I didn't say it wasn't dangerous, but but I mean, it would be the dogs. They was more concerned about hitting one of the dogs than it was somebody, because the dogs will be before any humans.
mm-hmm.
But they were still just lined up, like you said, so far apart, and then there were people down range. So they was using shotguns just in case, they wouldn't be using 30-06 to do that kind of stuff. I think he said he started when he was, I don't know, 10 or something like that.
See, that's with all the drives that we do. I mean, we always know where everybody's at, but even the people that are sitting in the stands waiting for us to come, they're up in a stand. And so they're shooting, they're shooting at a downward angle at any shot that they have. So there's really no, major danger unless just complete, I don't know, brain fart happens. But
That wouldn't be a good time to break somebody in on deer hunting if you're driving deer.
right. And that's the other thing, since I'm taking my boy this year, he's only 8. So we have, it's called mentored hunting. It's not like he doesn't have an actual license. He has never gone through a hunter safety course. It's basically, I carry the gun at all times, hold on to the gun at all times until he is actually ready to shoot. So it's kind of scary. I mean, I know that I've taught him well, and hopefully that sticks, but I'm also going to be I'm waiting to see how he's going to act if a buck steps out. Because I remember my first buck, in Christ, I think I was 13 or 14. I couldn't hold the gun. I'm sitting, I'm just shaking, and I mean, it'll be interesting, but I think he'll do good. At least I hope.
Now, besides the idiots going out there, the biggest times the most amount of times when I see when somebody gets shot is one, when people are crossing fences. They lean the fence up, or they try to carry the gun and they trip and fall. The gun goes off. My daughter actually pulled this one. She got a single shot, what is it? One of those Rossies.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sitting in the blind, and kids getting bored. She's out there in the blind with her mom. She had the thing cocked in the blind, and that's the safety.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just sitting there, just doing one of these, boom, and ventilated gave the blind a sunroof. That scared. When my wife texted me that happened, I was just, my stomach had just dropped and sank. Even how close that was.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've made the decision that kid is not getting the gun until we see the deer, and I'll give it to him. So, because it's going to take him a while to get it, because he's so young and not enough practice. It'll take him a while to, get it in scope. But he's not taking that gun off safety until I tell him to. And if he does, the gun gets taken away, and maybe better luck next time.
Well, you said earlier you were going to be carrying the gun,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the things like my dad did with me, I had to carry a gun, but it wasn't loaded. There was no bullets in it until he gave me the bullet.
No,
that way,
for the mentor program here, it's required that the kid's not allowed to touch the gun until they're about ready to take the shot.
Huh. That's going to be
once he turns 12 and goes through the hunter safety courses and all that, then it changes. He can carry the gun. He can do all that.
Okay. Because that was one of the first things because there's always knowing where your muzzle was pointed at all times. They did that rabbit hunting with me. So anytime, that if I made a mistake, I had to go through wallflower rose bushes and chase the rabbits out.
Mm-hmm. That'll learn you, because those damn things, they'll stick on they'll fish hook you right in the right in the cheeks.
Yeah, it only takes once.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of hunting accidents happen because of, and I've heard of several with having to do with climbing or getting down deer stands and stuff like that, and people having loaded rifles. Not loaded, but, ready to rock and roll, pull the trigger, just not thinking. And I don't trust rifles anyway myself, but as far as being loaded, like if it dropped a rifle or something like that, I could see one of them going off.
Mm-hmm. Oh, great. Yeah. If it's off safety and you drop it or you fall and it doesn't, you get just a little something on that trigger, that son of a bitch is going off.
Yep.
You can just be walking and that trigger gets snagged on something.
Mm-hmm.
I had them. I also, I when I was a kid, my dad had me use a Model 97, and it's one of those old pump action with a hammer. And one time, the hammer's down, and I'm walking, and the hammer snagged on. I don't know what it snagged on, but it just pulled that hammer back a little bit, and then the hammer went back, and the gun fired. Fortunately, the gun was pointed up, and when the branches came down, they landed within 5 feet of my dad.
Mm.
But it was pointed up in the air. So those old guns, though, you got to watch them too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially at 97. I mean, safety was one of the last things that went into those guns. It's had to function.
Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, because we got youth season this weekend's coming up. So I want to be out there and get my daughter set up. And she's going to be sitting out there in that old ventilated blind still. That way she can just look up and remember it. But she's using my Henry now. She got her first deer last year with it. So good times.
See, and that's actually, I mean, what you said was a good point. If you're taking a kid out in the woods, we have to remember we were kids once. And once you get bored, what do? You start pissing with stuff that you shouldn't be pissing with.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, we as the adults, we're kind of bored too. And we're not really maybe looking at what the kid's doing. We're looking for whatever animal that they're supposed to be shooting. And that's a good point to, for people to remember, we're out there with kids. Their minds are going to wander. And once their minds wander and they get bored, they're going to start fiddling with things. So.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely been drilled into her mind since then. I mean, it was a scary lesson to learn. But if anybody hasn't taken kids out there yet, oh my gosh, you definitely got to be on your toes with them. But have a good time. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. See, and that's the one thing I know, and this is going to be so bad for me to even admit this, but at least I can admit it. My biggest downfall is going to be if we're standing there in the stand and this huge buck walks out. I'm going to have to remember my boy's here. I'm not grabbing the gun. I'm not taking the shot. Just let him do it. Cause I can just, it's one of those things like, oh my God, that's the biggest deer I've ever seen. I could see myself being like, hey, let me take this one. That one's kind of far away.
Blue, you've seen the pictures I put up, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
They're still alive.
No kidding.
She's going to have the first crack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you want the kid to get it, but you also want to get it yourself,
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing is, and the other thing I have to remember is he's a kid. They're kids. They're going to miss. Don't make it a shameful, don't say anything negative. It must have hit a branch. It must have did this, because you can turn a kid off so quick. If you even just joking with one of your hunting buddies is not the same as joking with your kid.
Right. And you know what? And they're kids, and they're going to pull off a bad shot. So, I mean, if the deer gets gut shot, it's like, okay, you hit it. Let's back out. We're going to go recover it in the morning. That way it's going to be within 100 yards.
Right.
You go chasing it, you're never going to find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm psyched. I can't wait. It's only, it's the first Monday after Thursday is whenever the first Monday after Thursday, the first Monday after Thanksgiving is whenever we get to go rifle hunting up here. So
yeah, that's when ours kicks in for regular gun season too. And we're allowed to use straight walled cartridges now.
You're allowed to use what? Straight
walled cartridges. The 44 mags, the 45 70s, the old cowboy action type of bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you wasn't able to use normal high-powered rifles up there?
No, we can't use them. Just, cowboy action type stuff, straight walled, and shotguns and muzzleloaders. So we tend to got to be close.
Well, I had opened the field up. 45-70 ain't no joke.
Oh, that Henry 45-70 with the octagon barrel. that thing does not really kick you hard. It just gives you that push because it's got some weight to it. Got that one for my son, and I am so jealous. I got to pay off the CZ so I can get one.
I found the bigger cartridges, you get more of a bigger calibers. You get more of a push than you do a snap. I mean, and maybe it's not always true. It's just been my personal experience. Like I've held 243s that actually hurt my shoulder more than the 30-06. And I don't say hurt, but I'm just saying felt recoil. You know, like the 243 was more of a snap, real quick, and then the 30-06 was more like just pushed you back. And it's got some oomph, don't get me wrong, but that's just my experience anyway. I've never even shot a 45-70s, but I imagine it would be the same way.
Oh, there's some 45-70s out there that make a grown man cry. I mean, that's what I was afraid of. But, I mean, this one here, I got it and had some weight, and it's just a sweet shooting gun. So.
Yeah,
I'm trying
yeah, they can give you a big man a push, no doubt. Yeah, they're talking about different calibers out there now. Yeah, Baldwin Curious 50 cal gives you a push. Yeah, that's a shove.
I hear that 50 cal can actually heal your hearing loss and make your hearing come back.
I think he was just still delirious.
Oh, still delirious from the shock.
Well, there was two of them. The Scotsman just completely forgot to put his in before he pulled the trigger, and then Coda was standing off to the side somewhere.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, Rich 4150, when he started to shoot, I don't know what happened, why people thought it was over with. I don't know if we had a little bit of a lull or something, but he pulled off his first shot, and there was evidently several people that didn't have their ear protection on behind them.
Oh, boy.
See, and the thing is, if you shoot that off and you don't have your ear protection on, there's no sense in putting it on the rest of the day. Your eardrums are already done blown out.
So what's going on this week? I mean, you know, I am totally without the TV and news. I heard there was another shooting in a school.
Yeah, I heard that today. It was actually, from what I saw, and I don't know much about it, it was a shooting. It took place in 5 separate locations. One of them was a school, and the conflicting reports that I've been hearing is that there were like 2 kids injured, and then on the other hand, there were 2 kids that were killed. So I don't know which. I just got off work about an hour before coming on here, so I didn't have a chance to look anything up.
I mean, after that last shooting over at our church, they were going to actually, with the congregation, do kind of a reaction, a walkthrough, and what to do with everybody there. And just so, you know, people will actually, if it does happen, to know what they're supposed to do and how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel sorry for anybody that ever tries to walk in, because that church is not an easy target. It's not soft. It is the hard target.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing they're going to be changing is once services start, they're going to have the doors locked with somebody there to recognize people, for all the late people.
Right. And that's a good idea. I mean, it's not a lot, because it's only going to take one bullet to shatter the glass or do whatever, but that one bullet might be the warning that everybody needs to pull their own gun out. And
mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's just sad that it even has to come to that kind of thing.
Well, how long have we been saying that about I think TR's frozen, either that or he's got permater in.
No, I see him. No, I see him.
Okay.
All right, we're good. What I saw was your head cocked off to the one side with this big ass grin, and it didn't move for a long time. But I mean, we've been saying that for a long time on these chats too, that, you know, we keep prisoners now safer than our own school system. And it's sad that we're going to have to change the way that buildings are built, the way that security is done to keep people out. You know what I mean? Schools are public. You should be welcoming them in. You know, these lockdowns that they do, that ain't shit. A lockdown is nothing but a magical piece of glass with a lock on it.
And the liberals just want to take the guns away from us.
All right, Red's got a question. What do you guys think about crazy people should or should not be able to own a gun? If I think me personally, if you're, we're using that term loosely because I know a lot of crazy son of bitches, but they ain't technically crazy. But if you're talking about somebody that's mentally handicapped, mentally disabled, I mean, like truly have a mental problem, no, I do not think they should be able to own a gun.
Oh, TR, then you're not a true constitutionalist because they have every right to. I'm just
Yeah, I mean, I know people would come at me for that, but yeah, I definitely believe in the Constitution and the Second Amendment, but there are extreme situations where, okay, that maybe you don't have the rights of every citizen,
Mhm.
Well, what definition of crazy are you going by?
I'm going by like mentally, like when I say certified, I mean certified like there's papers on you. You have a history. You have been in not necessarily mental institutions, but some type of mental care facility, and you have been diagnosed with some type of disorder.
Whenever you see shit that nobody else sees, you don't need a gun.
Now, I'm not necessarily talking about somebody that might have some depressions on Prozac or something like that. I'm talking about a real mental disorder, schizophrenia or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's a slippery slope on that one. I mean, I guess I do agree that there are some people that should not have guns anywhere near them.
Well, the federal firearms form that everybody fills out, if you buy a new or used gun from a dealer, I don't care if you're in California or South Carolina, we all fill out the same fucking form. And that one about a mental capacity issue, I forget exactly how it's worded, that in that form, and don't quote me because I'm ad-libbing here, but it's if you have been basically involuntarily institutionalized, like if you was ordered by a court, a doctor, or something like that, like you were in court or something happened and you were forced into a mental institution or whatever. That's the extreme, part of that question, I guess.
Well, nowadays, try to get somebody committed to a mental institution. I mean, they're not going to go there unless it is voluntary. Because I've known this.
And now the way that the military is going, they're lifting all the bans on, not all the bans, but a lot of the bans on mental health regulations to let people into the armed forces. Have you guys seen that recently?
No, and I did 3 years of recruiting, and it's like that's hard for me to believe.
I'll have to. You have to give me a break. I'm going to go off, not offline, but
Now, I'm not saying it's not true. It's just shocking.
No, there was something. Of course, there again, it's the internet, but it looked like it was a lot of the, I don't want to say top news sources, but I saw at least something from CNN, Fox, and then all the local news channels started sharing the same, that the U.S. military is lifting previous, not bans, but previous
disqualifying.
Yes. And it's like, it listed like people that were cutters, severely depressed, a whole bunch of different ones. And my only thought was, and I was not aware of this till I started talking to you guys on these chats. You know, we're losing 21, 22 vets a day to suicide. And now, and those are the, I don't want to say the vetted individuals. Those are the people that the government has deemed could handle the stresses and the rigors of being in the military. And now they're going to lift these disqualifying reasons off, and you're going to put somebody in the military that is already depressed, already has some mental issues, and expect them to act different in a high stress environment. Man, I was like, what the hell? That scares the shit out of me.
From my experience, there are some things that the military disqualified people for that people did it at, like, say 11 or 12 years old, and it was a maturity question.
Right.
Like, I mean, cutting, because I mean, cutting starts right around 13 quite often. And by the time they're 17 or 18, I mean, they've matured up. But before that had them disqualified. Now, if they keep going down, if they kept going down that rabbit hole, and it escalated into higher things, they would be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
And leave that up to the psychologist on whether the person matured, because in the past, simple, like cutting, that would permanently disqualify them for life.
Okay, are you ready for this? This is from USA Today, which was reported by the Washington Post, something like that. All right, people with a history of self-mutilation, bipolar disorder, depression, drug and alcohol abuse can now seek waivers to join the Army under an unannounced policy enacted in August, according to documents.
Well, drug and alcohol, that's if you get a DUI or if you smoked one joint in your life. So you get waivers for that. It's just they denied.
I mean, that's fine. That part doesn't bother me, but
self-mutilation is, no, bipolar, no, keep them out. All happy one day and then shooting up everybody in the camp the next. No, that's definitely a red light.
I just cannot see how, with the 21 or 22 suicides a day that we're seeing from vets, how anybody thinks that this is a smart fucking idea.
I'm not saying you do not want things where it's just maturity level, because I mean, any person growing up, if they never even thought, even if it was just a fleeting moment of about, man, I'd be better off if I was dead, they had pushed it so much, if you even said that, they would automatically disqualify you. But being mature, it's like, oh, wait a minute, stop, that was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And go on. But yeah, bipolar, definitely not. People that were heavy into drugs and got alcohol problems and issues where they're alcoholic, definitely they shouldn't be there. But when you're taking the young ones right straight off out of high school, and it's like, I grew up in the day where the cop would take you home if he caught you drunk and turn you over to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, if you get caught, you're going to juvie, and you're going to spend time in juvie and have your, pretty much until you're 18 or older, your life is going to be destroyed.
Not just for drinking. I mean, that's it's, at least in our area still, it's just a simple underage. It's a citation, and they have to go take some alcohol classes. I mean, I'm not saying if they get like 4, 5, 6, 7 of them that they don't get sent somewhere else, but
yeah, but the military totally disqualified those people, even under age consumption. It got that tough.
Well, I don't think it's. I can understand loosening some of the stuff that they did in the past, but as far as when it gets into people that were bipolar and some different things like that, and we're not even talking Second Amendment. We're talking about military putting, like you say, putting somebody in a stressful situation while arming them. This is not the place for mentally unstable people. Because somebody that's totally sane and got their shit together can lose their fucking mind.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I just saw that stuff come across my news feed, and it was just like, that's all I could think of, because you guys kept there for the longest time. It was that Justin's final mission. You know, and it was just like, holy shit, what are they thinking about putting individuals in that are not, I don't want to say not wrapped tight, but they already have major issues. And now you're going to put them into this. What the hell?
Well, I mean, you also see the suicide rate is going up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people in this country have been raising their kids to be kids, not raising them to be adults. So when it comes to, maturity and handling problems in life, how are they going to handle those really high stress situations when you got bullets coming at you, rounds going down range? I mean, we see it right now with Antifa.
Yeah. Yes. I seen some video today or yesterday, and it's kind of got into talking about military. I forget what the video was about now, but yeah, they advertise the military is almost like a job. Like this is a job, and this is a way to create a future and get college education and all that. No, it may end up being that for you, or you may be in a damn foxhole getting shot at and then watch your buddy bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't a fucking regular job.
For me, a lot of years it was a job, and until one day we went steaming out of the Gulf in an aircraft carrier with a rooster tail about 600 feet long behind the ship, and when the sun came up, there was Mogadishu. I mean, I'm standing in hangar bay looking at Somalia and Mogadishu, and I mean, we booked. I mean, the night before they was going to have us in there with our paintbrushes, painting schools and churches and going in. And when we got there, it completely hit the fan. So, and all them guys that was in there getting shot at and by the whole city, it's like, I mean, someone that's, I mean, strong, an alpha male can lose their crap in that kind of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for the most part, most people in the military, even in war times, even now, you could be in the military and never pick up a rifle, never be shot at. More than likely, that'll happen. That'll be the scenario. But if you're that percentage that happens to see shit, happens to go into battle, it ain't all fun and games. And you can't have unstable people in there. I'm sorry. Period.
No, I mean, I agree. You can't. I mean, even it's like I said, most of the time it was a job. One time, here I am here in Saudi Arabia, and all of a sudden the Blackhawks and stuff, the gunships went up, and there's just this horrendous explosion. An ambulance packed full of explosives was coming into the main compound, and they took him out at the 5 mile mark. And it doesn't even have to be just overseas. I stepped out of my office and, looking across Andrews Air Force Base, and there's the smoke coming up from the Pentagon.
Yeah, somebody, who was that put that out there? I think Linda. Anyhow, something about they advertising that for 40 years like it's a job, it's a blah blah blah. I mean, I would hope you'd have some sense of if you join the military that it's not just a job, it's not just a opportunity to get college paid for. There's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, if you're not growing up, you better be a whole lot more grown up when you get done with boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not allowed to cuss at you anymore. You can call timeout.
I think they stopped the timeout. I don't know. They was doing that for a little while. As far as I know, they quit doing that, but I still bet it's way wussified compared to what it used to be.
Now, back in the 60s and stuff, they used to kill people in boot camp through training accidents where they fall off of something. And, on the obstacle courses, where you actually had to put your body at risk. trying to read Fuzzy Fork's comments here.
Yeah, they're going by kind of quick.
Where's the school guards?
Oh yeah. He's talking about that shooting that was like. There was one in Florida and one in California, wasn't there? Like Florida's was yesterday and California was today, I think.
Well, I just picked up a new job, and it's like I go, I carry, and I go by the whole thing is don't ask, don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
I can, if someone wants to fire me because I carry at my job, I can always go look for a new job. So the guys are leaving their weapons in their vehicles, but now people are breaking into cars because they know that people are leaving their weapons in their vehicles. Concerts, bars. I mean, people go to work, anywhere they got those signs, they stash them in their cars. So now the people are breaking in cars just specifically looking for guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody brought up a point at Farmageddon that we were sitting around the fire talking about stuff, and I don't have any, but it's a good point was made that it's not really smart to have bumper stickers and stuff on your car. It says this vehicle's protected by Smith and Wesson, or
Don't tread on me.
If you think about it, you are advertising that there's a gun in the car.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Same thing with Christmas season coming up along that same lines. Anybody watching this, if you end up getting the new flat screen TV or you end up getting laptop or iPad, iPhones, all that shit, burn it. If you burn the wrapping, burn the box. Don't fucking set that shit out on your curb in a thin little bag, because people will see that and you're like, all right, well, brand new flat screen, brand new iPads, brand new iPhones. I know what house I'm hitting. Don't advertise the shit you got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that before about it, because they really put that out when I was living in Maryland. Not to put that stuff out on the street, because you will get broken into quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a guarantee. I mean, the best thing to do, get yourself, I mean, by all means, get the cheap bags, bag it up, but then after everything's done, get those big ass hefty bags that are super thick, and so if somebody's have to rip it open to see in it, and put that, put your shit in there so that it's an actual, they have to try.
And make sure you got a pack of dogs in the house.
Did you see what Gear put down? Give me your electronic boxes. I'll put them by the trash can. I've got an itch.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty bald and curious. Put out my box with a new TV alongside with a new shotgun box.
TR, what was the coolest gun at Farmageddon?
That's pretty tough. I will say it was the first time I picked up one of those CZ oranges, or whatever the model name is. I don't know. They just call them orange. And oh my God, the trigger was just stupid. It was so soft, so light.
Scotsman said he could not miss with that gun.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even shoot one of those, but just dry firing it. The pull and the reset was just insane. I mean, it's definitely a competition gun.
So besides breaking into Pop's house and getting one, how long's the waiting list?
I have no idea. Yeah, ball gears. That little Evo, that Scorpion Evo, that was pretty cool gun too. And you've probably seen footage of it. Somebody, I think it's one of Pop's friends, had some suppressors, and it was threaded the same. So we put the suppressor on that little Evo. That's a wicked little gun right there. He put a can on it. Oh shit! It was a pretty good hit. A lot of people liked it. It's hard to say. It's hard. I mean, like I said, I mean the real lot, those competition models they were impressive. They were impressive. And they were some wicked builds of ARs, but I don't know. It's hard to point on one thing. And I've seen most of that stuff before, but the tricked out CZs were kind of new to me. I'd never played with those any, and like Big Johnson was there, and he had several tricked out, or I say tricked out. A lot of them were just factory, but they're factory tricked out, I guess you'd say. And they were impressive. Really nice guys.
If you want one of those CZ oranges, from what I'm seeing, they're anywhere from about $1,500 to $1,900.
Yeah, it's gonna be about a $1,700 gun, no doubt. Yep.
Wow, they've gone up $300. When I first started seeing them, they were like between 14 to 16.
That was from, I don't know the date on it, but that was from Gun Deals. Is what they're seeing. The range is from 1482 to 1868.
Wow. Well, when you got something and it demands that high, you can demand that price. Because where I go, they said I would be waiting at least 6 to 8 months. Am I buzzing again?
Mm-mm.
Okay. He's looking around like someone. You heard him.
No, I keep seeing. I thought I was seeing like a little gnat flying around. I'm like, what the hell?
You're not mentally defective, are you?
I might be.
I'm gonna have to. I'll buy your guns. You know that way you want to turn them in.
You just need me to send them to you?
Yeah.
All right. Put your address in the external. I'll send them out.
All right. Yeah, and I'll just trade them all in for an orange. There he goes. I was gonna say if he doesn't talk, we're gonna start going into our rant again. Where we're like talking anti people.
Nah, I'm just trying to keep up with the comments. I'm just reading them. That's hard to do. Yeah, definitely. CZ Orange would be a waste of money if you wasn't shooting competition. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I shot competition, I don't know that I would afford one of those. I was like, screw it, I'll just come in last.
You know what? But there's something about shooting something that is just a total work of art, and you know, come on. If someone's offered to let you drive a Ferrari, would you turn them down?
Mm-mm. I'd be driving that bitch as much as I could.
Yeah, driving it like a rental.
All right. Have you guys, this is a complete subject turn, but have you guys seen the video floating around of some guy that was from Ohio, went to a Walmart in his area, and they were throwing away, it was just food left and right. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, and then I also caught a little bit of the backstory to that too.
Okay.
There was a reason for that, from what I understand, and I don't have any facts to back it up. But yeah, that was. I can't believe they had that much food in the Walmart. For one thing, that must have been a big one. But somebody had looked up. I think it was Matt Resistitarian. He made a comment. They had a loss of power for several hours. That's why they threw it all out.
Okay.
And that kind of made sense because a lot of it was within date from what I've seen. But there was evidently, like I said, I don't have anything to back it up. It was a disgusting video to start with. It was. But then when I seen that, and I was like, okay, if the power went out for several hours or a day or whatever it was, yeah, of course they got to throw it all out.
I'm seeing, just a real quick search, I'm seeing it was out for 14 hours following a tornado outbreak.
Oh, that was right around here. So, because I made a video and it turned out the tornado was behind me. It nailed some houses around here.
Now, let me see if I can find what Walmart that was. It was definitely in Ohio.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those videos. I mean, I don't down people for doing videos like that, and maybe we've all been somewhat guilty of, well, maybe on these chats, of course, talking about a subject that maybe there's a backstory that we don't know about, but that's why you talk about it. So, you know, you can find out facts.
Salinas, Ohio.
Yeah, Salinas. I'd have to look that up. But yeah, the tornadoes had come through here, but you know they came from the northwest, heading kind of heading in the southeast direction.
Yeah, they hit us.
Yeah.
Well, they stopped just west of me. So, I mean, whenever I say just, I mean just.
Yeah. But I can understand why you can't even get expired or end of the day food from restaurants or grocery stores to feed to your hogs anymore because of insurance reasons.
Mm-hmm. And in the video, that's what in the video, the one manager, or I think it was a manager, said something to the effect of, "Look, we could give all this food away, but it just takes one lawsuit to ruin it."
Yeah. Yes,
But
I mean,
a ton. I mean, holy balls. TR, if you had to make a guess, how many shopping carts full of stuff did you see? Not to mention all the dumpsters that were back there.
Hell, just shopping carts, they must have been, hell, they had to have been at least 50. It looked like it anyway.
Yep. And then dumpsters full of milk and everything else. Which the guy still said that everything that he was touching was cold.
Well, but if the power went out and came back on by the time that they put it out, it could have cooled back down, especially if it was a tornado. It's not like the store was going to be open during a tornado. It might have been a day or two later before they got in there and cleared it out. So power came back on, maybe cooled everything back down, But I get that, if it was without power, especially for 14 hours, they have no choice but to throw it out,
Mm-hmm. Here's some warm 14-hour cottage cheese. Have at it, buddy.
Oh, I love that joke. Milk gone bad is sour cream or whatever, and this sour cream is cottage cheese.
All right, I got to take a smoke break. I'll be back.
I'm answering. Fuzz says you can't hear the chat. He's just kind of anyway. So I'm trying to answer a question.
No, I can hear you.
No, I mean somebody out in the audience.
Yeah. No, I was saying
browsing problems.
So it sounds like everybody definitely got sick and the bug got passed around.
I didn't get it. I've worn out, but Dave, truth, I'm still kind of recovering. But that's just because I got to represent. I got to stay up as later than anybody else, or at least with the last few people that finally say, "Screw it, let's go to bed."
You can always tell who the Navy guy is in the crowd. He is not going to fall asleep, until the last beer is gone.
There was one night that I was like, I'm ready to crash. And I looked around, kind of might have got up, get out of the fire. I was like, okay, power through. You can do this. Give me another beer.
Coast Guard aren't going to show up. The Air Force are going to pass out first, and the Army's going to be right behind them. And the Marine's going to be guarding the cooler, making sure the Navy guy don't drink too much.
Yeah. And I was able to get up Friday morning. No, was it not Friday morning? Maybe Saturday morning. I was one of the first up Saturday morning. So I was one of the last to go to bed and the first to get up. I was the one that fixed coffee that morning.
Yeah, got to have that coffee.
I didn't get it the other two nights, but I got it that one morning.
Oh, I can't end the day without coffee, and I can't start it without the coffee.
If I hadn't had to pee so bad, I wouldn't have got up then. But once I was up, I was like, okay, nobody else is up. It's daylight. I'm looking through one eye. All right, screw it. I'm going to fix some coffee. started.
See, us Airedales, we learned we keep everybody's canteen. We'll empty it out the night before. That way we kind of like stash it. That way we don't have to get up. We just refill our canteen. Just don't let him drink out of it because you'll make an enemy for life.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Oh, yeah. No, I want to move around here.
Yeah, Bald. Yeah, Bald was one of the ones that stayed in place.
What country is Bald from?
Slovakia, and I probably butchered the hell out of that. He can punch it in there if he can spell it right.
Yeah, cause I kept calling him the Russian, and because when he was whipping on Coda Boy, or no, that was Pops.
That was Pops, yeah.
Yeah. Midas trying to get him from behind. Oh man, Midas gets squished.
Yeah. I think the fact that Midas was messing with him, and then Midas grabbed onto his leg and had him around the knee, and Bob was just dragging him around. I think that's the main reason I posted it, because I looking back at the replay, I was like, oh, that was hilarious.
It's like, yeah, there's a flea on my leg. Where'd this yap hound come from?
Yeah. Oh, he said I said it right. Cool.
Mm-hmm. And oh my gosh, I'm surprised you guys didn't melt those awnings on those campers.
Yeah. Well, they had to draw them back. They did draw the big one back. They pull it back about halfway because it was getting hot. And War Prophet want to know how many 50 cals was put in the fire.
I seen 3.
Yeah, there was 3 rounds thrown in at a time. And I think one of the nights he did it twice. But I know we done it 2 nights in a row, at least 3 rounds. Yeah, he was throwing 3 rounds in at a time. And then we threw 100 rounds of 22s, a box of 270s, which will be 20 rounds. In 2 increments, 25 rounds of 44 mag. I think that was about it.
I was so hoping to see Scotsman wear his kilt. You guys get some video of him shooting with his kilt.
Yeah, damn wuss. He didn't show up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have put on 11 pallets. I heard 11, 12, whichever one. There's not much difference. Oh, yeah, 12 gauge too. The 12 gauge is a non-event. Don't ever throw 12 gauge in the fire. They don't do nothing. Because they just melt the plastic on the side and then it just fizzles. Yeah,
it gives a big psst, and that's it.
That's about it.
I've always noticed like 270s always made the biggest boom in my dad's trash can when we burnt the trash.
270s were impressive. Everybody was impressed with the 270s. I mean, even compared to 50 cals, they made a little bigger boom.
Yeah, I've seen them split a 55-gallon drum, a metal drum, down the side going off.
Yeah, I can see that. It's not as dangerous as people think, though. Now, granted, you could get an eye took out. You could take out somebody's eye. So, you did need to cover your eyes up. But if the projectile did hit you or the case did hit you, more than likely it probably wouldn't penetrate. If it did, it would be like a damn splinter or something. If it did get that bad, it might cut you or something like that. But you're not technically going to get shot.
Just remember, take the splinter out before it grows into your body.
Yes, exactly. I can attest to that.
Yeah, we're timing blue here on a cigarette break. See, TR and I, we're smoking those Indian cigarettes.
Yeah, they burn forever.
They do. And since I went back to work, a pack has lasted me 3 days.
Oh, that's cool. I'm still vaping. I still got my vape. Being here on the chat, it's just not as whatever, but it has cut my smoking in half, if not more. So,
does that got nicotine in it?
Yeah. It's not the strongest. It's about middle of the road, I guess. But,
yeah. As long as they don't have all those added products the Marlboro and everybody else puts in.
Yeah, true. Well, my goal is if this does wean me off cigarettes, and then I'm pretty sure I can lay this down easier than I can a cigarette. So, or wean myself off of that. I'm not trying to quit. It's just like, if that's a byproduct, it's probably better for me. You know?
Mm-hmm. And if Fuzz is talking about me right there, I am now just I went to this place and stood the store up where I had to work every day, but now I'm down to a part-time schedule, so I'm going to have days off. So if he wants to meet up, man, we'll meet up.
Cal made a very good point. Everybody had a camera in front of their face, so our eyes were protected. And that is pretty much the damn truth when those rounds were going off. I think in one of mine, I may have not posted it yet because I still got a lot of footage. I even say it in the video. Well, let me put the camera in front of my face. All right.
Yeah, that looked like a real good time you guys had.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely, it's always a really good time. And the friendship you make at some event like that. I mean, I'll even go so far as saying just meeting someone from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've gone and met Rob before these Farmageddons and stuff, or I guess the first one was at Farmageddon, the first one he had. But gone and met Rick, and there's some other people I've met. Even if it's just meeting for lunch or something like that, it's pretty cool. There's a lot of really, really good people on YouTube.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm nuts. I mean, I went out and I met the one married couple who are homesteaders that don't live too far. I mean, they've got a decent sized channel. I met the Scotsman. He came down and we did some shooting. And, he's going to be coming down again. And maybe if things work out for him, he's going to move down this way. Get him out of the city.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy in person, no doubt. And if you're out there, Scotsman, or watch it, he's a little bit more, and I'm sure that would pass, which not that I'm saying he was shy whatsoever, but he was a little bit more quiet, I think, around a big crowd. And I guess it's just because there was so many damn characters there. There's.
Yeah. Well, he was the new guy.
Sometimes it's hard to get a word in edgewise. Period. Anyway, you got such bold and big personalities there.
Oh, he kept muting me on his chat last night. I was trying to go, do one of those things to get the ladies fired up, but then flip it, where they go, oh, at the end, and he would just mute me.
Some guy in Sandy. I didn't run the course with two-handed with the 6-shooters this year. I just did one run, one gun at a time. I mean, I would have liked to have done it more and play around with it. I'll have to do some more practicing, and I want to be able to do a hip shots because there's pretty big targets. I think I can get down a hip shot and run through it pretty fast. I'm going to practice in case we have one in the spring and see if I can't do that. I think that'll be a lot of fun to watch.
Now, does anybody have videos of what, SoCal wearing his wife beaters at Farmageddon?
Well, it was too cold. He didn't do that. It's not, when I say cold, before anybody in the north starts making fun of me, there were people from the north that was even saying, boy, it's chilly this morning, and it wasn't even freezing, but it was probably in the 40s, and there was a light breeze, and it was just like, we were all around the campfire Saturday morning. I mean, Saturday's supposed to be the big event. Yeah, we didn't start shooting until afternoon.
Okay, I got to mute this because I'm about to go inside. Don't think you want to hear my doors.
But Friday ended up being the main, probably the most shooting, at least. That's when a lot of the shooting. I mean, we did do some competitions then too. Didn't do as much as that as we did last time, but I think it was just because short days. It got dark too quick.
Well, just me watching the videos.
It seemed like short days definitely had a lot to do with it, but it looked like you guys were doing a lot more like structured competition shooting than just everybody standing at the line at a lot of times just wing and let it steal. You guys still did that, but it seemed like it was less.
Actually, there was, and this is probably just because of the video so far. Actually, there was more just people standing at the bench shooting than there was even the competitions.
Really?
So, I mean, this is probably the way it appears at the moment. There may be more videos to come, and it shows more of people just blasting ammo. But we actually only done 2 competitions, and one of it involved a shotgun, and then the next one we started at the pistol course. He had some poppers or whatever you call them. You lay them down, go through this Texas Death Star. I hate that son of a bitch. I did do better this year with it, but then run through the pistol course.
Did anybody?
And we didn't get. Actually, I wanted to do that more. I only got to do that one time. We just ran out of time.
Did anybody shoot the top plate off the Death Star first, so it really spun fast?
Actually, that's where everybody started. If it was lined up right and the top one was straight up, it didn't seem to want to start turning yet. But as soon as you hit the next one, that's when she really started going. Most of the time. But I did do a lot better with it. I'm not going to down Glocks too bad. But the last event, I took my Glock. I forgot my CZ or Canic, whatever, for anybody, but whatever. It's a CZ clone. I shoot it a lot more accurate than I do the Glock. So I did better. But I would get down to that last plate. I'd be like, okay, I might have a miss or two and get all the plates down to the last one. And then it seems like it takes 5 or 10 rounds to get rid of that last one. And hell, and it's already stopped. It's like, what the hell? Fuck, die, you bastard. That definitely adds a element to the competition, no doubt.
And a side chat, boy, we got a lot of people from Ohio in this group.
Goddamn flatlanders.
Oh, I'm not. I'm in the foothills of the Appalachians.
Yeah.
When I say foothills, I mean it'll just give you 2 corn areas going up the hill.
The one I had to go to, I think it was Kentucky. Kentucky's right under Ohio, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I had for whatever reason I had to go almost the whole way through Ohio, and then the fastest route according to GPS was then drive south. I'll tell you what, I have never in my life been on a main road that was so goddamn straight, flat, and boring. And there were so many cornfields and every other field. It was like, you have got to be shitting me. It was a boring ass drive just because of that.
You must have taken nothing. You must have taken 80 to 71.
Yeah, because we ended up, because I'm between Pittsburgh and Erie. I'm pretty close to 80. Mm-hmm. So we probably did take 80 the whole way across, and then we ended up going down through is it Cincinnati to Louisville?
So yeah, you'll cross. You took 71. Then he said if you went down through Cincinnati, you probably headed south right when you got to Cleveland.
Right.
Went through Mansfield, Columbus.
Yep.
Yeah. You drove right by me.
Oh no, well, that was before I knew you. That's been years ago that we did that. Had to go pick up a rapist out of Kentucky.
Did he make it back home, or did he disappear?
Yeah. No, unfortunately, we have standards.
We just have the holes pre-dug.
That was fun though, because we ended up in Nashville. Ended up going to a Coyote Ugly bar, which is not that great. But every bar you go to down there, there's people sitting in the bathrooms
that like want to put soap on your hands and give you a goddamn mint and expect you to fucking pay them. It's like, I just need to piss.
Yeah, I
Wasn't
don't
it?
need any help washing my hands. I got this. I learned this at a very early age. I don't need anybody handing me soap, towel. You don't have to squirt soap in my hand. I can do it. I'm a big boy. I can do this.
Yep. I was like, Christ, even here in Northwest PA at the redneck like county fairs where they have porta-johns set up, there are now people that sit like there's porta-johns like 10 deep, 5 across, 10 deep. So it makes like a U. And now they have a station in the middle with these people that sit there, and they will do the same thing. They'll like as soon as you walk in to go take a piss or something, they're like, that one's open. Well, thank you. The unoccupied sign that they didn't flip the little switch that kind of gave it away. But, and then they like, if you don't tip them on the way out, they're like, I don't want to say they get gruff with you, but they're condescending. It's like, I just used a fucking porta-john. I'm good to go, buddy. I don't need to give you $1 for telling me which fucking one to use. Just, God, that was weird.
Yeah, the porta-john is just to keep you from pissing on a telephone pole. You know what I mean? I don't.
I just couldn't believe that. I mean, I was at the county fair that I've gone to for years, and I've never seen such a thing. But apparently the part that I didn't see was that these guys, like after you leave, they go in to make sure you didn't tinkle on the seat. And if you did, they fucking wipe it down. So if somebody has to take a deuce, then you're good to go. But I was like, it's a fucking porta-john. It floored me.
Well, the only place I've seen those people that do the soap and towel actually was clubs. But I've never experienced it at porta potties. I will say that. I'll
tell you what, that will be, we go to this fair every year. I will do a video just on that because it is that interesting. Not interesting.
Well, it's no secret. I used to go to strip clubs a lot, and that's where I seen them. And I'm like, you know, if I go on stage and give $1, I get boobs rubbed in my face. There's not much you can do for me, dude, for $1.
Oh,
shit.
I mean, I'm just, I'm just being real, Even if I don't get to rub them in my face, I get to look at them real close.
And if I'm real lucky and I like turn my chair backwards and I crease the dollar bill right and I put it right on the bridge of my nose, they'll squat down and pick it up.
Do you know how hard it is for me to keep my mouth shut? I mean, it's like I'm past all that. And I did 20 years in the Navy.
Well, before you became a good boy, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do. Oh, and I'm so ashamed. Darn it, you didn't get the coffee up the nose.
See, Blue, you turned this chat to shit. What are you doing?
I was thinking, Blue's next video is going to be all the reviews that he's on, all the clubs that he's been in.
No, I'll tell you, the last time I was when was the last time? It's been 15 years, probably, since I've been in one of them. But whenever I did used to go, it was, I don't want to say hardcore, but it was a fun time.
You know what used to kill me when I was in San Diego? Everybody, as soon as they got stationed there, they wanted to go to Tijuana and go into them clubs. And so like one time I get a phone call, I'm at work. My aunt and uncle, who, I mean, then it's like, okay, I wasn't going to church and all that. And they were the heavy churchgoers. Where do they want to go? They want to go to Tijuana. It's like, no. People die there. It's like no, you don't. Oh my gosh, that was the hardest tour I had ever given, trying to keep them away from certain areas and streets.
See that donkey over there? That donkey is known as, well, never mind.
Yeah, kind of. I know we reference that movie a lot, that A Million Ways to Die in the West or whatever. As soon as you start talking about it, instead of the county fair, it's like people die at Tijuana. Don't go there.
Oh, the first week that I was down in San Diego, a Marine got shot on a bridge by the Mexican police, and that guy was just, drunk. They shot and killed him. I
If you
helped him.
don't get killed, you'll see something that'll make you wish you would die.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah, the first time I was down there, I had to get a young girl back across the border and get her to the hospital.
What'd you do to her?
I didn't. 5 Mexicans did.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
you took my joke and just shoved it right back down my throat.
Yeah. Well, and you're talking about years ago. I mean, of course, now you can't even go to Cancun and the cartels aren't involved now. I mean, there is no safe place in Mexico, as far as I know, from what I understand. I would imagine the tourist resorts, they did a decent job of keeping them out for as long as they could. But like I said, now I hear they're even in like Cancun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're finding busloads of people buried and their heads cut off on bridges. It's gone totally insane. The border is, I mean, people that live around the border and stuff, I mean, they're under siege every night.
Mexico's gotten out of hand, no doubt. But I mean, it's a different country. I don't know what, other than securing the border, which I don't think is asking too damn much. There's nothing we can do about that country, period. What they do, we can't interfere. It's their own damn country. But yeah, don't go to Mexico. don't go to anywhere south of the border of America, period. But I'd imagine even on the border, it's getting pretty bad.
Yeah.
I know. I think we talked about it last chat or a chat before. That video Matt posted, the Arizona, that little, I don't even know if you could call it a fence. There was some boards laying across the ground, and that was it. Basically, it was a decorative fence.
And it wasn't decorative. It looked like a fucking farmhouse that had been run down for the last 200 years, and that's what they had left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I mean, that border territory down there is like, it is the Wild West. Because, I mean, you even have psychotic Americans that are hunting Mexicans out there. So, I
tell you what, Bald and Curious has got we've talked about it many times. He's got to legalize the drugs. The cartels will be broke in months, and I have to agree with that. That would slow a lot of that shit down. Of course, it's probably not going to happen for different reasons, but I'd say legalize the drugs.
The war on drugs is a joke.
It's a big damn joke.
Oh, it's not. That's how I get most of my overtime.
Our government brings the drugs in, or allows the cartels to bring it in, and then make it illegal. It's just a damn vicious cycle. It's a joke. Then I have sympathy for people that get hooked on drugs, and I'm sorry, and that happens. But obviously, them being illegal doesn't stop people from being drug addicts.
And our military should not be guarding the poppy fields in Afghanistan, Iraq, and all that. They should be burning them.
Yeah. Why do we have a big heroin epidemic going on in America right now? Duh.
Mm-hmm. The government's involved.
We're here to help.
It's a sad thing. I don't know. I just don't think making drugs, there again, it gets back to trying to legislate morality. And I don't even call it morality. I don't think it's immoral to take drugs. It's just your own morals on what you'll do and don't do. I mean, I drink beer, I smoke cigarettes, but if they made heroin, crack, and all that legal tomorrow, I wouldn't be going to CVS or wherever it would be a flea market to buy damn heroin and start shooting up heroin. It's like, well, hell, it's legal now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just okay, make it legal, but also do not expect me to pay those people's medical bills. If they choose to do it themselves, they did it to themselves.
Yeah, I agree with that too. You make your bed, you got to lay in it. You know, I don't know. I might be a little hardcore on that to some extent, but at the same time, I'm very liberal when it comes to as far as them being legal. Because, like I said, it don't stop people from doing it. All you're doing is enabling gangs. You're enabling cartels to gain power, influence, making them money. Take that money away from them. Make it legal for somebody to grow a pot plant in their damn backyard, and they ain't got to buy it from nobody. And if they want to watch a football game or whatever and smoke a joint, who gives a damn? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't where's the Bunny Ranch where prostitution's legal? Is that Texas or is that Vegas?
No,
Nevada.
Vegas. It's Nevada.
Near Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that many a times as a young lad on Showtime.
Yeah, that's another one stupid law that a woman can't sell herself or rent herself for money. Really? How is that illegal? I mean, that don't make sense to me. I'm sure there's reasonings of, you know, I don't know what the hell the reasons are, but
Yeah, well, the reason gets back to the thing that we're all against, which is the human trafficking part of it, where they get the juveniles hooked into it. But if you're an adult and it's not that, you know, a pimp is making money off of you. I mean, if you want to run, you know, invite people over to your house or to a hotel room and you make all the profit and that's your business, by all means, you know. I mean, you know the risk. Us as men and them as the person know the risk that I might get AIDS, I might get an STD, I might, you know, might end up with a psychotic asshole and end up dead. You know what might happen.
Well, it's illegal most places because the government can't tax it.
ding ding, we got a winner. That's exactly why. That's why they don't want you making liquor and different stuff. It all has to do with taxes.
Mm-hmm. Taxes, control. I mean, you got to buy a marriage license. Why?
Mm-hmm.
It started because they said a blood test, you know, to make sure you didn't have deformed children. Well, they don't do the blood test anymore, but you still got to buy the marriage license.
And you still have deformed children.
Yeah, you still got deformed children. It's just a money generating thing. But now also the government now steps into the churches and says, you know, tells the churches what they got to do. Marriage is it's between a man and a woman, or, you know, whatever, you know, when people whatever want to get married.
Nice save.
Hey, I know it's like me, it's between a man and a woman. But, you know, it's been around forever, but it's just a small part of society that's been shoved down our throats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been there, it's always going to be there, but it's not mainstream.
No.
No, but, you know, it's being pushed as mainstream.
Thank God you brought that up. This bullshit with fucking Colin Kaepernick pickle getting the fucking GQ Man of the Year. Who the fuck cares? Which one of us in this chat or in this anybody that watches this video picks up a magazine of GQ and is like, oh, I wonder what's going on in the GQ magazine? Not a fucking one of us. Who gives a fuck? Let them have their, you know what I mean?
He froze up.
He didn't even get Man of the Year. He got Citizen of the Year.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, that was a damn joke. Well, not that any of those magazines and stuff influence any of us anyway, like you say, but it's still, it's kind of a slap in the face. It's like, really?
Yeah, fuck it. When's the last time you knew any true blood? I mean, I don't want to say true blooded American, but yeah, I do. That picks up I'm sitting at the doctor's office. Let me get my GQ and what? I mean, it's a dying breed. I mean, I don't want to say a dying breed. It's a dying magazine that was looking for something to get them ratings and get them publicity, and they did it. And
I think you're making a very valid point, because magazines are definitely dying out. If it wasn't for, like you say, doctors' offices and beauty salons, there probably wouldn't be a magazine in print.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but magazines are pretty healthy in my house.
Well, them other kind of magazines.
I think there's another kind.
Who's the Citizen of the Year in your magazine?
Let's see. There's the practice ones. Those are 9 mil solids. And here's the business end hollow points. And here's the one I keep in my pocket. That's a 380. And that's pretty much what I'm carrying every day now.
Mm-hmm.
Full size in a pocket.
Let's flip this around a little bit. Let's say that GQ does their Citizen of the Year, Colin Capper-Pickle, and they do whatever they want with him. They plaster his face all over whatever. Hey, fine, have your day, do whatever. What would the outrage be if on NRA magazine they did a Citizen of the Year with the, and I'm saddened that right now I can't remember his name, but the guy that shot the guy that was shooting up the church.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine?
What? Yeah, there would be an outrage about it, no doubt. But at the same time, that subject of owning guns and stuff, I don't know. Maybe there's more people on the fence than I know about, but I think most people's got their mind made up one way or other. And if they did that, if NRA did that, their supporters or people of the Second Amendment would actually be for it. And then you got all your libtards and left wing that would be up in arms about it. So I don't think it would split anything. It would just be the ones that are for pro Second Amendment would be like, yeah, that's a good choice. This man stopped a murderer with a legally purchased gun. A legal gun owner stopped a crazy motherfucker with a gun. And then, of course, all you libtards, well, you're just praising, whatever, praising guns or, whatever. Yeah, it would be crazy. I think the Wall Street, was it the New York Times or Wall Street Journal? The one that just posted the story by the black professor calling all whites racist.
Was that New York Times?
I think it was New York Times, but it could have been Wall Street. But I think it was New York Times. That was a racist as hell story. And it's like, mainstream's like, oh, well, this was a good story. Somehow the left has flipped around that only white people are racist and all white people are racist. It's like, no, there's black people that are racist too. And they're like, oh no, that's not possible. So what the hell? Bullshit.
Fucking Will Smith, and I love Will Smith movies. He is the biggest racist I think I've ever met, but he's a pretty big racist whenever it comes down to it. But yeah, that professor, whatever the fuck he was, and that did that article, go type in, find out what his name is, which I don't give a shit. And then Tucker Carlson, he did an interview with him. That was one of the most condescending interviews I've ever seen. I mean, he didn't ever want to come at a question to answer it. And it was just, Tucker would ask a question. Watching Tucker Carlson or Carson, whatever his name is, after like 6 minutes, I've had about enough of it because he's kind of an ass in his own way. Don't get me wrong. But it was just like, this guy was the most condescending, go around the rabbit hole 14 times and never answer a question because he was getting called out on things.
Yeah, they're not going to stop whining until all of us learn that the perpetrator is the biggest victim out there, and he wouldn't be doing it unless he was the biggest victim. I mean, that's what they're pounding down in our heads and jamming down our throats.
For anybody that don't know, I'm going to butcher the name of the name of the article is "Can My children be friends with white people? In a nutshell, that's not exactly what it said, but that's basically what the name of the article is. Can my children be friends with white people? And he goes on to say how we're all inherently racist. White people are, not black, just whites, and just on and on and on. And it's just like, what the hell? I heard it on talk radio. A guy read the article. It was the first time I heard it, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Well, it really didn't surprise me, but it was just like, how racist is that? And Bald and Curious made a comment out there. There's more black people racist than white. Try walking through Harlem. And for those that don't know, that I was actually married to a black woman that was raised in New Jersey. And after she moved to the South, she was telling me that she was amazed at how tolerant and that how interracial the South is, because she was always brought up to be that, you know, people in the South are like, we're all like KKK. Basically, in a nutshell, everybody in the South is like KKK. Like, we just hate black people. And she said, I got down to the South, I seen more interracial couples than I ever did up north, and nowhere near the racism as there is up north, even whites against blacks and blacks against whites. She said it was way more racist in New Jersey than it was in South Carolina or Georgia or Florida. That's the places she lived that I remember. But she's like, yeah, the interracial just melting pot down here. She said this was very surprising.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there are places in America that there is racism, but it's not where we're told it is, or the public's told it is.
No, the news is definitely blowing this shit way out of proportion to get headlines. You know, a couple of years ago, well, I don't want to say a decade ago, that asshole's letter to the editor is what I'm going to call it, even though it was called an article. His letter to the editor would have not even made it past anything. But all of a sudden, like the last 3 years, basically, maybe a little bit longer than that, the news grasps onto everything that may potentially be linked to racism, shoves it down all of our throats so that the sheep will follow and be like, oh my God, there's such a racial divide in this country. No, there's not. No, there is not. I mean, in my area of the woods, there is not a racist problem. There are hate groups, by all means, yeah, but we don't have a racist problem in this country. These assholes that are shoving this down our throats and the people buying into it, that's what is creating the racial divide in America. It's not us. It's not the citizens. It's the select few professors and teachers, you know, whoever political people, but yet the news grasps a hold of it, and that is the word of the nation. So that's what we're supposed to follow. No, it's not. No, it's not as bad as what they're making it out to be.
The places I've seen the biggest racist problems, Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago. I mean, your large cities that are run by liberals.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere else you go out here, fly over America. I mean, it's not like it was 20 and 30 years ago when I was a kid. Oh, heck no. I mean, now, I mean, it's biracial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, triracial. It's, and it's like this. And TR, you probably seen it when you first went into the Navy. It's like, we don't care what color you are. You either do your job or you're a dirtbag.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, the military is a big melting pot for sure. Yeah, the colors and religion and different things like that, all that kind of gets thrown to the side when you join the military. I mean, not throw to the side that you can't be religious. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying you don't judge or whatever like you shouldn't anyway. But that is definitely going in the military. You know, you got your job to do, and your buddy's got a job to do, and if you don't do your job, you're putting him at risk, and vice versa, and all that. So you have to, whether you want to or not. Not that I ever had a problem with it, but
it's who has your back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it comes down to. Who can you trust?
that we don't have enough time to get into it, and I'm not prepared. But getting into the big cities and the problems with the big cities, which I don't think a lot of, well, I'm sure people don't realize it that's in that situation, but relying on the government, relying on a check, government housing, even if it's just affordable housing, blah, 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 that created all that the ghettos were created by our government trying to take care of people, and the people thinking that the government was going to take care of them. I mean, I'm probably going about this saying this the wrong way, but that's where that came from. You know, the big city mess that's there. I'm probably way off base how I'm trying to say this, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about.
It's intentional, because you can grow your biggest voting block by growing the poor and concentrating them to where you give them a little, just enough to stay alive on, not to live on. But the fear of losing that, and you can demonize the other side. I mean, that's the fastest and biggest voting block you can grow. So the people that are in those situations are actually still slaves. And they're slaves to a government, a party that wants to keep them there so that they can stay in power and control money, and then go out and turn around and try to control everybody else.
I think most of those people will never see it, but they're being controlled, and they just don't get it. And it's such a big monster. I don't know what can be done about it now. I mean, obviously something can be worked on, because it's like if you want to start taking it away, weaning them off the damn government tit, well, hell, then they get up in arms, and and they're like, oh, like they take offense to it. And some of them may be trapped. I think there's a lot of it. It's a trap. It is a trap. I mean, it's hard to get out of it, because once you're in, any little step you make advance, like try to better yourself, well, hell, then they cut your benefits, and they'll cut more benefits than made it worth that little step you took, beforehand or after, like trying to do better. So it's a trap, and it's they're intentional, and I don't think people get it, but it's a big fucking mess, bottom line.
Well, just as Sam Kinison told Sally Struthers, quit sending them money, put them on the bus and send them where the food is at. Remember, a long time ago, Sam Kinison, the comedian, and Sally Struthers, always raising money.
Little Sam Kinison, but yeah.
You just got to get them on the bus and get them out of there.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no jobs, if there's no opportunity, well, like I said, it gets back to being a trap. They can't afford to get out, but they can't afford to stay there either. They're in a trap, and they don't realize the people that put them in that situation is those damn liberals and Democrats you keep voting in. That they're ones that are protecting you, and they're taking care of you. No, they're not. They're keeping you under their thumb, and you're not going to vote them out because they're feeding your family, barely.
Yeah, they replace the dad. Blue disappeared. The aliens got him.
Oh, did he disappear completely? I just say he went mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I say, we really don't have time to get into all that. But we was kind of leaning that way, and I kind of wanted to talk about it just for a second there. I wish I had more info beside me. I mean, hell, we could do a whole chat just on that mess that we have in America with welfare, Section 8 housing, food stamps, whatever else plethora of social programs that's out there that is actually just a big trap.
I've seen it. It's sad. It's disgusting. It's sad, heartbreaking, and just makes you raging angry all at the same time. But
all right, gun check. All right, all I got's a damn ugly ass Glock.
Oh, oh no. I got something uglier. I went around and looked at, and I took a survey of all the guns in the kitchen. I pulled out a SIG, and then I got this here Ruger LC9 piece of junk. I mean, you can't hit the side of a barn standing in the barn.
Really?
But okay, we got Old Faithful here.
I hear you.
Yeah, I went through the kitchen, and only one gun was mine. All the rest of them were my wife's. But she's got her CZ under her pillow. She won't let me near that one.
And just for any safety sillies out there, let me see if I can do this without. There you go. Yep. It's around. It's safely loaded.
And Bald and Curious, yes, you did identify the bullet. It is a Hortney from earlier. They make great paperweights. I hear they also make great doorstops, or is that a Glock?
Well, I know I'm sort of a Ruger fanboy, but I will admit I've talked with different people on different chats. They probably need to stick to everything other than semi-auto centerfire pistols. Their 22s are great. Their rifles are good. Hell, I've seen a lot of people talk good about their ARs, but far as pistols, single centerfire pistol cartridges, they might want to just go ahead and drop that program.
Did Scotty tell you how mine came apart in my hand?
Mm-mm.
A Ruger Super Blackhawk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was down here. The pin came out of the rod that holds the cylinder. And, I mean, yeah, it locked up on me.
Damn.
I've never had problems shooting until I started making videos.
That's the way it usually that's the way it goes, man.
Yeah, I've seen somebody, y'all probably seen it too, a video of somebody shooting a Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum, and the fucking barrel shot off of it, cylinder kicked out, same thing, probably not as drastic, but a pin fell out or something, or broke or something, and the whole pistol just exploded in their hand. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, fortunately, my cylinder locked up, so it couldn't get to the next round. Because it definitely would have been misaligned.
Yeah, that was the problem with it. It was misaligned. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no.
Anything can happen. If it's mechanical, if it's got a moving part, it can fail.
Everybody's reading the chat. The chat is like.
That's I'm reading it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 1911 Ruger made. I've heard good things about it. I kind of I kind of want one of those just because I'm a Ruger kind of guy. But I mean, I think I got 5 Rugers, something like that. But 3 of them are single action.
Have you guys heard anything about any issues with the latest generation of the Glock 20? I think it's a Gen 4. It's a 10mm. I'll tell you what, I don't know if it's just the pistol that I have, but the last 2 times I've gone out shooting with that son of a bitch, I'll be out there shooting, and you know, I don't go like super fast, but I try to do a relatively quick double tap, like for qualifications and shit. I will pull the trigger. I will get my finger just so that the trigger resets, and it's like, ba-bam, and it scares the shit. I mean, I don't pull the trigger. I know I'm not pulling the trigger, and it still goes like, it's that light that I get right to that point. I don't know if I breathe in at that point in time, but I mean, it's kind of scary, actually. I mean, I actually said that at my last qualification because I like my whole group on my targets were, you know, right dead center, except for, well, there were 3. There was 3 that were down to the left because it's just like boom, and like you go to the reset. As soon as you hit that reset, it's almost like it shoots itself. I didn't know if that was just maybe I'm doing something, but I've never had it happen before, ever.
I hadn't heard anything about it.
I'll have to hopefully within the next week, I'll go out and I'll just put like 100 rounds through it, like I usually do, and then like every time that happens, be like right there it was, because I mean it's almost like as the trigger resets, if you stop at the reset, it shoots.
Really?
Try 2 different models of guns when you do that.
I had the Glock 20 Gen. Was the last one the Gen 2? I think the last one was, and it never happened, ever.
Well, but how much practice have you been? I mean, is this muscle memory? Is it you, or is it the gun? That's what I'm trying to separate.
And that's just it, because the older Gen that I had, I've shot thousands of rounds through. This one, I'm lucky if I might have 600 through. And wherever I say thousands, I'm like almost at tens of thousands with the older one.
It kind of sounds like, and this is just me off the top of my head, like the reset. Okay, after the reset, like the take up, it's like you're trying to take the take up out and there's no take up.
Yeah.
And so it goes off.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So you're used to your old gun.
Right.
And you're doing the same method on the new one with a different reset.
And the reset, as soon as it resets, it's there. Well, maybe I'll just have to practice a little bit more with it. But I'll tell you.
Think about that when you're shooting it and see if that's what it is. Is like once that new one resets, there's actually no take up, and you were just muscle memory pulling it just a little bit to take up that take up, and there just isn't any there to take up, so it goes off.
Right. And that's a very good, because it never happens. Like, I mean, it doesn't happen at the end. Like whenever I know I'm done with the whatever I'm shooting, you know, it never happens like boom, 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 finger comes up and I know I'm not going to shoot again. I don't have that issue. But like you're saying, maybe it's just that little, since I've been shooting that other gun for 5 years, you know, maybe it's just that, you know, click, and then I automatically, just from muscle memory, pull that little slack up, and that's what's triggering it. So that's, I have to check that out. Yes, there is definitely a loose nut on the trigger. No doubt about it.
As long as you don't have Tourette's on the trigger.
All right, yeah, this, I don't know if I can do this. I can show it right. I've cleared it. It is clear. Pull the trigger. All right, now this is a Gen 2 17. All right, there's a reset. I mean, the reset. And there's still that much. Do you see that? I got that much take up before it goes off again. And what I'm thinking is that newer generation you got, once it resets, it's actually setting on the sear or whatever.
Right.
And as soon as you try to take that up, that right there, it goes off. You don't have that probably.
It does
reset. That's ready to go. And I still got that much play in the trigger before it goes off. So I bet the newer generation, they actually, I guess, improved it, and you don't have that slack. Just guessing.
No, that's. I'll definitely check into that, or because it makes sense. That right there, that makes sense.
Yeah, just set the camera up where it's really focused on the gun in your fingers when you're shooting.
Right. Go down.
Not that I would ever praise Glocks or try to defend them. I'm just saying. I bet that's what it is.
By the time they hit Gen 4, Gen 5, they've almost got it right.
Yeah. Where's that quarter inch of play? It's not there anymore.
But it does. I mean, it makes awesome for a good double tap if you're expecting it, but I'm never expecting it. I mean, it's just bam. It's like, fuck, I just did it again. I don't know how many times during the last time I shot that gun,
I was like, God damn it, it just did it. And I was like, it just did it again. But there again, like you're saying, that muscle memory, because I mean, I can't even tell you how many rounds I put through that old one, but I was damn good shot with that old one. And now we got this new one, and I'm not quite as good.
I bet that's exactly that HKP7 that I got. A lot of people that I've put it in their hands to shoot, they'll double tap it because the same thing. They do the reset and they expect that creep. They're taking up the slack, and there is none, so they can pop off another round.
Right, and with muscle memory, it's not like we're sitting here talking to where it's you shoot and you're releasing it, and then you start. I mean, this is fast. I mean, whenever we're shooting, I mean, it's you're click, boom, and then you're coming back almost instantly. So I could see how that could happen. I mean, it's not like we're talking to where there's a lag in it.
Yeah, if you pick up a new gun, I mean, every gun has. You can pick up 3 guns of the same manufacturer. Whatever gun it is, and the trigger, every one of them is going to be a little different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna pay attention to that the next time. Mm-hmm. But it still pisses me off because damn, I was a damn good shot with that Gen 2, or I think it was a Gen 2 is the last one we got. Man, I wasn't qualified as a sniper with a pistol, but goddamn, if that's available, I would have had it. Except for shooting that stupid goddamn tree with Tom. that just flustered the shit out of me.
Well, the fact that he's a lawyer and not some kind of competition shooter, and here you are, a policeman with years of training and shooting and all that, and here a lawyer just outshot your ass.
Oh yeah, he whooped my ass. It wasn't outshot. He whooped my ass. That was
I look at
whooping.
Okay, so he could shoot. He's got an awesome truck. Okay, he's naturally he's a redneck. We need to get him. And I'm not saying redneck's a bad thing, because actually redneck is a good thing.
He just hasn't accepted it.
Yeah, you got to look up the Battle of Bald Mountain for the origins of the word redneck. But yeah, I mean, he's a country boy. What's he doing in the city?
It's Chicago.
No, yeah. He was there this time. He was there this weekend. I don't know if anybody got him on video, but he was there with his truck. That thing, not that it looks bad in videos or that Suburban, but in person, that thing is in excellent shape. It looks good.
I mean, from the video I seen, it looks like it had a full frame off restoration.
All right, looks like people are dropping off. It's getting late, and I do have to go to work tomorrow. So if anybody got anything else they want to bring up before we wrap this up right quick?
No.
Okay. Well, we covered a lot of subjects. I know that.
Yeah, that was definitely a bounce to one to the next, which was fun.
Well, my structured chats, I'm really proud of how I got this stuff laid out, and we're going to jump from strippers to the Wall Street Journal and all that.
Don't forget about the donkey.
Yeah, and a donkey. Tijuana. All right, I'll let you guys do an outro, and then we'll cut this off. And I'm gonna start with you, Blue. Go ahead, man.
Oh, dude, I've got nothing. This was a fun chat. This was just literally, this was just a free for all between the three of us with some insight from the external. This was fun. This was just cut it up, have a good time and chat. So thanks for inviting me, Daniel. Good to see you as always. And external, you guys kicked ass. Sorry I was late to the show on a lot of the external, but once you get caught up in a conversation, even though you guys don't realize what we're doing, because like my camera is actually right here, but my computer is down here. So I'm looking at TR and I'm looking at Daniel here, and I'm looking at the external. So a lot of it I missed, which I'm sorry. I'll do better. I promise.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with the external and the chat itself. So Anyway, Daniel, would you like to do an outro, my friend?
Oh, okay. Well, as bad as computers that I am, I have learned if you put the Hangouts, the Google Hangouts up on the screen and you go back and you hit pop out chats, you can put it right here on the side of your screen where you can kind of like read it and go through. But first, I'm assuming that I can read, which I can't. So you guys need to write larger and slower. But hey, TR, thanks for having me on. Lou, enjoyed talking with you, buddy.
Well, thanks, guys, for coming in. I appreciate it. And thanks everybody out there in the external, out there in the comment sections. Y'all burn it up as usual. And I had to admit myself, it's entertaining just watching the comments fly, because y'all have some good conversations out there, and I appreciate it. And with that, we'll go ahead and sign off, and I will see you Sunday night. Later, everybody.